Welcome back, everybody. Driver 53 here, and we've got another episode here, Precision Farming on the console. I'm playing on a PlayStation 4, and y'all, we just finished up the episode of how to increase your pH levels, how to optimize that. That's using the Lime Spreader right here. And now we need to go ahead and use a couple different pieces of equipment. So the first thing we're going to use here is the Manure Spreader, and then we're going to be possibly looking at a regular fertilizer spreader. And the reason we want to do the manure first is because Giants recommends that you use manure or slurry on your first pass, and then they say a second pass can be mineral or liquid. And I'm going to do mineral. I don't know if there's a difference. That's another video for another day. But that's what we're going to do here. So let me take you into the menu really quick and show you what we currently have for our pH. This is where we left off. And if you didn't check that video out yet, go ahead, check the link above. I've got it linked right there for you guys. So this is where we're at. These are optimal conditions, settings for this soil type. Now this is the different soil types that we have. And then these are the settings for it. As you can see, it goes perfectly in line with where those waves are at in the different types. It knew exactly where to do this. So I'm only assuming that whenever we go here to nitrogen, it's going to do the exact same thing, right? So a lot of the field is got nothing or very, very little to nothing. So I'm excited to see how much this is actually going to use. I don't know how much it's going to take, but we've got a silo here close, and we're going to get to it. So like I said, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to hop over here. Now, I'm going to show you the mini-map, because it's really, really cool. Right now, it looks just like a normal mini-map, right? But this thing is really, really awesome. It knows that I have manure in this, which is a fertilizer, and check out what's going to happen when I drive on this field. Give it a second. Boom. Right there. It knows what you want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to get lined up right here. Now I'm not sure on the spread on this piece of equipment, so we'll figure it out. We may have to come back and hit it again. But if it's anything like the lime, it's not going to let me overdo it. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my control menu here. So there we go. So down at the bottom you can see that from 0 all the way to 200 kilograms per hectare is the way that this is. So it's going to be set on automatic right now. So on the PlayStation controls, I use a side panel also, but I am going to go ahead and show everybody else the PlayStation controls. So I want to go ahead and unfold, so we're going to hit X. And if I want to deactivate my automatic, I just need to hit the right arrow button. I'm not going to do that because I want everything to do it kind of as Giant suggests is the best way. Don't worry, we're going to go do manual in another video. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So open cover. I don't think I need to open the cover right now. I think it's good. I think we're ready to spray. I haven't used this one before, but I think this is going to be okay. So what I want to do is go ahead and turn it on. So square. And then, oh, that's a really big width. We're going to move over a little bit. I don't want to use... Oh, sorry about the trees, everybody. So we're going to try about here. How about that? Alright, so what I'm going to do, like I said, we're going to turn it on, and then I am going to hit cruise control and go to town. So this should be, let's back up here. So we're right on the edge, so let me scoot over a little bit. You know what? It's alright, we'll come back and we'll hit that at the end. So as you can see, my checkered flag over there is trying to get it right in the middle where it needs to be. Now, I don't know why I'm getting that red line right through the middle. That's really odd. See my live map down there? I've got something interesting that's showing up. It's like still showing red. Like I don't have enough. Right there in the middle. And that could be from where I'm driving. That's really interesting. So what's this going to show? I'm leaving just a little bit of a gap there. I don't know if you guys could see that or not. Now I'm covering it up. So, okay, for some reason I was getting a line, but now on this one I'm not. And this is all brand new. This is the first time I've tried this. I am experiencing it just like you guys are. So it is very, very interesting to me. And it looks like, once again, we're getting a pretty decent amount of pickup here. So let's look at this again. So it says 60 is what we're getting here, is the increase. Huh. And that's so weird because this one doesn't look anything at all. And now we're getting 80. Doesn't look anything at all like the other one. The other one had the waves of 3 different sections. This one's a little bit different, so this is going to be quite interesting. But let me keep doing this, everybody. I don't want to keep you all here. I think you kind of get the idea of what's going on. But let me finish the whole field, and if I have anything weird that shows up, I'll definitely pop on here again and let you know. But if not, we'll take a look at the results whenever I'm done. So, yeah, I'll see you in just a second. Alright, everybody. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems like every time I go the opposite direction than what I'm going right now, I get that line right down through the middle. So I went back down to the other side really quick without spreading anything, and then started back over, and it doesn't look like it's happening again, because it was like a perfect pattern like every other time. So now let's see if this happens again this way. If I get that line right where my vehicle's at. And wouldn't you know, there it is. Now, I have absolutely no idea what that means, but we're going to find out. It may be something that has to do with whenever I, get the other fertilizer. I'm not really sure. So, we've got just a little bit more to go. I'm running out of manure, so I'm going to go fill it up really quick. I'll finish the field up, and we'll be right back. Alright, everybody, here we are, finishing up just now, and I want to go ahead and show you what our map looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's quite interesting that, because if I look at my pH, you can see I've got the 3 different bands going through, but if you look at the nitrogen, they don't exactly follow that, like especially up at the top, how it's got the extra yellow up there, and then it gets into green, then back to yellow. And like in the bottom corner now, where my tractor's at, I've got 2 different shades of orange, instead of the green. So I think what it is the manure based on the soil type. This is what the Giants has stated about this. Depending on the soil type, it will increase your nitrogen by a fixed amount. So what that means is that when you put this over loam, it's going to be different than sandy loam, and it's going to be different over loamy sand, right? And over silty clay. So it may only be 20 on this, 40 on this, 68 on this, and 80 on the other, right? That may be the breakdown. I'm not quite sure right now. I don't have enough in one field to test that exactly, but I think those were 3 of the numbers that I saw were 20, 40, or 40, 60, and 80, maybe. So that's quite interesting. It really is. But it's still interesting how, I guess it depends on what it started with. So I'm going to go finish up this last little bit down here, and then we're going to talk about something here in just a second, about the next step in fertilizing. Alright, everybody, so like I said, I've got the solid fertilizer here on the New Holland T6, and I think the next step that most of us would normally do here is, we know that we need to cultivate, we know that we need to fertilize, and typically you're going to do 2 fertilizers, but we already did that, right? We already got 1 done, so now we're going to come in and cultivate, and then we'd put probably fertilizer again, have our second fertilizer stage, and then you would plant, and then you'd be done until harvest. I don't think you're going to get to do that, because if you look, it tells me right now my pH value is perfect, but my nitrogen, it doesn't know where it needs to go. So what that tells me is that I need to put seeds in the ground before it's going to tell me exactly how much more nitrogen I need to put on this field. So I think there's 2 ways to go about that. I think one way is we can get a seeder or planter that fertilizes as we go with liquid or solid fertilizer, or we can do it the traditional way of putting seeds in the, or a more traditional way of putting seeds in the ground and then coming back within the first growth cycle and fertilizing. So I think that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and try and get direct drills, one with fertilizer, one without, and then we can do part of the field with fertilizer included in, and then the other half of the field after. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll be right back. All right, everybody. So I went and grabbed two different pieces of equipment to put seeds in the ground. The first one over here is a direct drill, so we're no cultivating, but it's not got fertilizer. And the second one over here, direct drill also, but it has liquid fertilizer. So that's the best I could come up with right now. Like I said, there will be more testing. I think this is just going to be a general what process kind of works and how do we want to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half the field with the one that does not have fertilizer, and then we're going to come back and do the other half of the field with this one, and then we'll probably come back in the first growth stage and fertilize this other half of the field. Sounds like a plan. So let's get to it. Alright, so I've got a worker going right now, and as you can see down in the bottom, I'm not getting any information about my nitrogen levels, and it's because I don't have nitrogen on this piece of equipment. So what we're going to do, like I said, is keep finishing off this other bit here, and then I'll jump in the other one and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, everybody, so what I did is I went ahead and put the worker over on the other seeder over there, and we're going to jump here, and I'm going to leave this little strip right here in the middle with nothing. That way we can kind of see what the pH level was really close on each side. So I think that'll be really cool to see here. But as you can see, since I'm already in this equipment and it has fertilizer on it, my mini map did the same thing that it did once we had the manure. So this is really interesting. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and just hire a worker and let them run it, and hopefully we'll get to see what it looks like in the options menu here down at the very bottom, right? Our flow rate, it's going to give us our target range where it need to be at with wheat. So I'm putting wheat in both sides here, so we're going to get the same number there also. So let's hire a worker and go. This is going to be really interesting, everybody. Wow, look at that target range. So it's throwing 80 kilograms right now. And look at that, the pattern. That looks really cool on the live map down there at the bottom. Now, when we get over here to the other side, it's going to be really interesting to know if that flow rate changes, because we're getting ready to get into orange. Ooh, and it's going 80 also. Quite interesting. Alright, let's hope they go the right way. Yes, they did. Alright, perfect. So, I'm going to keep doing this. It's quite interesting what's going on here. I don't know, because both of those were 80. So, I'm going to keep watching this and seeing if it's 80 across the board. I don't know if it's going to be, though. That's a really interesting thing, because it said, you know, from what I've read, is this one self-adjusts. Well, I guess the application rate's 227 right now. Trying to get up there higher. And when we get over here, 227, but it jumps all the way up really high. Wow. Okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this and keep watching it. It's really interesting. I don't want to keep you guys around too much longer. So we're going to do the whole fields, and then we're going to come back and check the other worker and apply it with a separate spreader. So I'll see you guys over there. Alright, everybody, so this is really interesting, and this is what I was hoping was going to happen. You can see this is one of those lines where when we put down the manure, it left that red streak right down the middle where the tractor was. But after going over with this, it's working perfectly fine. And also we're putting down 100 kilogram now, and 284 is the flow rate. So that's interesting. I wonder what it's going to do when we flip back over here to the other. If it's going to stay at 284, or if it knew that it needed a little bit more because that was red. So stick with me just a couple seconds here, and let's find that out. 284, and we were at 277 before without the red. Or 227. So yeah, it knew that even with that red streak in there, that we needed to do it. So if you see that on your maps, I wouldn't worry right now. I am going to do some more testing to figure out some more stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, everybody. So our worker got done over here putting all the seeds in the ground. So it looks great, but check this out. Now we can see how much nitrogen we need. And if I go right to the edge, it was saying nitrogen bad there for just a second. It's down in the bottom right hand corner. Anyway, I want to show you guys the map, what this looks like. So the top portion up here is what we did liquid fertilizer as we were seeding, okay, or planting. This one over here hasn't changed because we haven't done anything to it yet. So I want you to see the difference. Now, if you remember what our pH levels look like, and then you look at this, that's very, very consistent. So it's automatically knowing where it needs to take it to be absolutely perfect. So the interesting thing is I wonder if we're going to get a bigger yield on the crops and the different soil types. And by that, we're going to be looking at this over here. So it's going to be very, very interesting to know that. And it could be that nitrogen level needs to be a certain level in that soil type. That could be what it is. But what we're going to do now is we're going to back out of this. We're going to hop in this guy right here and do this the, I guess, more old-fashioned way, right? So what I'm going to do is pull up here, and I am going to turn it on, and we're going to get going. So I'm also going to throw on the mini map down here so you guys can see what this looks like live. So hopefully it's going to start updating. There we go. So we're also going to throw this on. But the interesting thing is it's not actually doing it like the other one. I don't know if you guys see that or not. So it's not giving me... Oh, there we go. It's because I had my mini map. All right. Sorry, there's so much information there. So let's go ahead and we're going to hire a worker this time. So it's telling me where we need to be at. So we're going to go ahead and hire a worker. And they open that window. Sorry, it annoys me from one of my other series. They open the windows whenever it's time to hire a worker, and I don't understand it. So you can see that it already knows what our target is, so it's fluctuating around on the application rate. Now up here, it's showing 370. Now it could be because it's so much wider than the other one, but we were like 227 if I remember correctly. 444 here on the edge. Yeah, that's got to be just with the how wide we are compared to what we were before. So I'm going to keep doing this. When we get close to the edge over there where we have the break, I'll come back and we'll take a look at what's happening over there. So see you guys in just a minute. Alright everybody, so the same thing's happening here. It's covering up and it's automatically knowing those red lines that we had in our after the pH went down, the lime, or the manure, I'm sorry. So the first round of, not the pH, the nitrogen after the first round of fertilizer. So we're going to see here if we're wide enough to get over into that area that we haven't done yet. I'm curious to know if it's going to put down a double fertilizer since I'm using two different types. Alright, not on this pass. I'll be back. Alright, so let's see what happens here. I'm very, very interested in this. Oh wow, it's actually putting down a second fertilizer. Even though it doesn't know what the crop type is. That's really intriguing. But it's not making the other side go up any at all. If you guys see that, since we already have fertilizer over there, it's not making it go up at all. Quite interesting. Alright, well that's it for this worker. Let's turn it off. I want to close that, and I want to go ahead and look at the map again. So it looks perfect. Now the interesting thing about this is we had that strip going right down the middle, and if you come over here, you can see I do not have anything planted. And if you come over here to growing, I do have that little bitty strip right in the middle. But when I come here, I don't have that. It's showing that my pH, I guess because it knows that everything around it should be that, so it's going to be that. So, awesome, everybody. Now, this looks so much similar to our pH and to that. So they are all perfectly consistent. Now, this is the next one, yield. It's going to be quite interesting to know how it changes, you know, with those different areas. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything else that I need to do to this. I think we are 100% done until it's time to harvest. Unless I have weeds. Yeah, weeds 0%. So I'm going to kick off weeds just for this test right now. And you can see here's that one strip that we have not touched yet. So I'm going to kick weeds off, and then we'll probably come back in our next episode. I'm going to speed up time, get this thing going, get some crops raised, see if I need to do any more fertilizer. If I will, I'll come back in the next episode and start with that. If not, the next episode is going to start with me harvesting. So, everybody, thank you very much. I think we covered a lot of cool stuff today. I'm sorry the video was a little bit longer, but I wanted to cover all the different fertilizing types so that you guys had some really good information, so when you started getting into this, you would be prepared. Yeah, so like I said, the next episode, I'm going to start working on it right after this, so hopefully you'll see it shortly after this one releases. And if you haven't checked out any of my others, go right on ahead. I've got a full list, playlist going on of precision farming on console. I want to be very specific on that. I am console. I am not PC, so I don't know if these things are going to be exactly the same or not. I wanted to do this on console because they might be different. I don't know. So I just want to say thank you, everybody. And until next time, this is Driver 53, signing off.